All right, guys, welcome back. Obviously, same again. I'm still in my work clothes, and yeah, I just want to touch on that point. I want all of this to be very authentic. I think it's really important for people to actually see what it's like to build a business. I know there's a lot of people on YouTube that have already made it, or maybe trying to sell a dream. We're here. We're riding this wave together. So these videos are going to be very authentic, out and about, or at home when I get some free time to talk about how everything's going. So let's get straight into it. The business that I built, guys, I've started a food trailer. We sell smash burgers, and let's get straight into it. Why a food trailer? Well, I was tossing up a lot of things as I left real estate. I knew I wanted to start a business, but I wanted it to be something I could touch. I was either opening a shop or I was going to go do something else. But ultimately I thought, well, if I get a shop, I'm going to be paying rent before those doors even open. Where if I get a food trailer, yeah, it's a big upfront cost, but if an area doesn't work out, I can move, right? So it's low risk. I can sell it if it doesn't work, or I can grow it and maybe get another one if it does work, right? So yeah, we're going to talk through that whole process because now we are in April. I started April 2026. I started filing for the business back in February 2025. That our first operating day was June 13th, 2025. So we are now 10 months into the business being live. And we hit a very big milestone this week, which I'm going to talk about later on. So, the first 3 months of building the business, it was all very admin heavy. I wanted to make sure that I built everything correctly from the ground up, starting with the self-employment assistance program and their assistants, making sure that the websites are correct, the insurance is correct, building our emails and just menu and everything that I could possibly do now while I'm trying to get this business going. I wanted to basically just flick a switch and we're off, right? I filed my business registration with the Scenic Rim. That was a little bit funny, I'm not gonna lie. It's probably clear that there's not a lot of food trailers going through the Scenic Rim Council. So there was a bit of back and forth about the plumbing that we used, and they had plumbers call me and ask me, oh, why am I calling you? You're a food trailer. And I'm like, I know, it's a bit weird, but nevertheless, we got through it. It took, I think they say it takes about 30 days, but it took me closer to 2.5 months. Lots of back and forth, but we did it. It's all good, put it behind us. What I would say on that is if you're gonna start a food business, reach out to the council straight away and just get the ball rolling, because there was a point where I had all my admin done and I was just sitting here waiting to operate, which was a bit of a pain in the butt. So I talk about the self-employment assistance program in another video, which I should have posted by now. Great experience, bit challenging to get into, but well worth your time. That was really good to fill in those blanks and help me think of things, that I didn't think of initially. So the food trailer, the smash burger trailer, we're called Wanna Smash. We started as a vegan smash burger trailer. So I went vegan because my partner Jaden and my daughter, they're both vegan, and I wanted to do something that was close to home for me. I thought I'd make a cracking vegan burger. As someone that is a meat eater, I wanted to make it, bang, right? We essentially hit the road. We organized a soft launch that was really good. I had my friend Corey come down. He helped me, build the equipment and run the soft launch with another friend of mine, Ash. And then pretty much that was the 13th of May, the soft launch. 18th of May, we were on the road. So I did some videoing of me walking around trying to find locations. We did find one. We're located at the Tamborine Mountain IGA on a Wednesday. That was our very first day operating, and it was incredible. Like, we had such a great turnout. Really, really good. We ended up doing a few days at Tamborine Mountain IGA, picking up a few locations. We tried down in Oxenford near the Woolworths there. That wasn't very good, so being mobile, we were able to move on. We went down to Canunga on a Monday. I tried down in Tamborine Village outside of the motorworks on a Tuesday. That was popular on the first day, but then died off, and we were like, what do we do? And so after 6 months, and I'm going to tell you exactly what we made $40,000 in gross sales in 6 months. That's not bad, right? That's not terrible for like starting a business straight away. However, like once you factor in produce and site fees and anything else, I really wasn't walking away with much. And I really had this vision in my head of I wanted to build something lasting, right? I wanted to build something for my family, something that was scalable, like I said before. And where we're located in the scenic rim, it just wasn't really cutting it. We went down to Brisbane, we did some vegan markets. We weren't allowed to cook burgers at the vegan markets because there is already another burger van there. And so we questioned ourselves, why are we here making, at the time, toasties when burgers are our jam, right? Burgers are our business. So we packed up and decided to move on. So it was approaching December 2025, and I don't know, I had my family come out here and they were watching how hard I was working and the hours I was putting in just to cover bases, essentially, take a little bit home. And they said, why don't you add meat? And I said, no, I'm not going to add meat. I'm not going to add meat. No, this is a vegan burger truck. I've built a vegan community behind me. And after a lot of talking and a lot of thinking and self-reflecting, to the point where I made myself sick with this decision because I was so stressed out over it, I decided to try meat. And ever since we tried meat, it has just been gangbusters. It's just been massive. We still have our vegan community supporting us. In fact, we reached out to a lot of our regulars and just said, hey, we are thinking about bringing this in for a trial. How do you feel about that? And every single person that I spoke to, they all just said, you know what, as long as you keep doing the vegan burgers, we're going to support you. And I think they knew how hard we were working. And so to have their support was just sensational. And so, yeah, we changed to beef pretty much on the 1st of January after doing a trial through December for a week. And within 3 months, we did $44,000 in gross sales. So in half the time, we did more than before. We operated 5 days a week at this point. I had Friday, Saturday off for most of that, and Sunday off for most of that as well. The odd Saturday we picked up and we tried doing a market over in Brisbane. We would do that till midnight and get home at 2 o'clock in the morning. I was up on a Sunday with a 4-year-old at like 6 a.m. And so we weren't really doing too good at that market just because the market was building. It was Mingle in the Valley, and I've got a lot of respect for the person trying to build that market because as someone that's building a business, it's hard, right? And so I'll never cut them down. It just wasn't the right place for us where we were at the time. I had a casual, but he was working part-time hours, Joey. Sensational. He was such a good worker, always showed up, always had a good attitude. He just wanted to try. He's from Japan, and unfortunately his visa came to expire, so he had to go back to Japan. And as we were approaching just before Easter, which is when Joey had to go, I was at a growth stage in the business, right? We obviously had done well for the first 3 months. And I thought to myself, okay, let's keep going. Let's double down. So I reached out to my friend Corey, who I spoke about before. He was working as a supervisor at Village Roadshow in food and beverage. His background, he has worked in food trailers, food trucks with his family. And I just said, Corey, you're gonna come work for me. You're gonna come and work for me. And I brought him up to my trailer, and it was a Saturday night, I think it was. And I wanted him to see how much we'd built with this trailer since he had left. And, you know, at that time, I think we had 2 people in there operating. We had Joey and one of my casuals, and people were coming up and ordering. And I said, Corey, I need your help to take me to the next level. I need someone that I trust, for one, that's a hard worker and I know is a hard worker. And yeah, just someone that I can rely on and bounce off. And so sure enough, Corey took the job, and it's a full-time job. He's my first full-time employee. I've offered him $65,000 a year as a salary. And then we've also set in place KPIs. Now, those KPIs are based around weekly sales. I'm going to do another video on weekly sales. I think that might be really insightful for people. We can maybe even touch on what that KPI is. I'll see how I feel if I want to disclose that on his behalf. And so, yeah, now we're like in this new stage of the business where it is operating 7 days a week. It's operating 7 days a week with me being able to take my Friday, Saturday off with Jaden and Maisie, which is, I wanted to build a business around my family. I mean, I've talked about it before, and now Corey is working those Fridays, Saturdays. We're testing new locations. We're scrapping locations that aren't working. We're very clear on where our direction is. And so, yeah, it's crazy. As of last night, we've hit $100,000 in gross sales, and we did that in 10 months. So yeah, I think it's really interesting how far we've come. It's a really good moment of reflection. And yeah, it's good to be on this journey, and it's hard. That's the only thing. It's hard and it's stressful, but it's so worth it if you are clear on your goals and you know what you want to achieve. So yeah, we're called Wanna Smash. We're located in the Scenic Rim. Our Instagram is wannasmash.au. Our Facebook is Wanna Smash Street Food. You know, we're new. We know that we're new. We still haven't perfected things. Our menu is being worked on. Our photos aren't the best. We need to fix that. Lots of things to improve on. And I've got a good team behind me now. So yeah, it's a very good and like a good point right now. So to reflect. Anyway, that's the end of my video. I've started a food trailer. We're called Wanna Smash. Check us out, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.